everyone, I'm Daniela and I'm back on NFI. So this week's theme is pets. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the pets I've had and just some funny stories. Right now I'm actually with my roommate's two cats. We can take a look at, oh, there's one. The other one has wandered off, probably under my bed, as cats do. So growing up, I had pets like at different points in my life. When I was really little, my parents had a dog, but I don't really remember that dog. Then we had like two other dogs when I lived in El Salvador at two different times. One, his name was Curly. We got him from my grandpa, and he was this little poodle. And my brother and I were still pretty little. And he ended up getting out, so that was really sad. And then a little while later, I was still maybe 5 or 6, we got another poodle from my grandpa, and we named him Copper because he was like this little tan color, and we were super original kids, slash we really liked the movie The Fox and the Hound. And he was such a cute little dog, except my brother and I were little kids, and he was a little puppy who was not super trained because he was a puppy, so he would pee everywhere and chew on things. So we ended up not having him for a super long time. And then we didn't really have dogs for a really long time. But when I was older in elementary school, like 5th grade, we ended up getting some hamsters. We went to the pet shop one day just to look. My brother and I probably begged my mom, can we please go look at the pets? Oh, let's look at the hamsters. And they had hamsters just for $3. And I was looking at one who seemed pretty friendly, and I think I was holding him, and my mom made a comment that, I heard somewhere that if you flip a hamster on its back, and before she could finish that, I flipped him over, and he just kind of chilled there. And what she had heard, what she was going to say was that you can tell a hamster's friendly if you flip him over, and he doesn't try to bite you. So luckily, the hamster did not try to bite me, and we ended up buying him, and we named him Max. And a couple days later, we went back, and my brother got a hamster, and we named her Teensy. So we had a boy and a girl, or, as far as we knew, because they were still very little. And we kept them. We realized, Max is definitely a boy, because he was well aware of the girl hamster being nearby, and he would always try and, figure out how to get near her, and we would have them in, the little hamster balls. He would always try and be near her. And one day, Max was downstairs rolling around in the little hamster ball, and Teensy was upstairs, and somehow they both got out at the same time. And Max broke out of the hamster ball and climbed the stairs. They were carpeted, so they knew how to do that. They just pulled themselves up on the carpet. And we found them, and a little while later, I don't know how long hamsters are pregnant for, but Teensy had babies. She had 3 little babies, so fortunately it wasn't 20. So that was kind of a neat experience. It was a little bit surprising, oh, whoops, our bad. But also kind of cool. And there were these 3 pink little baby hamsters that were, I don't know, maybe this big. And they kind of look like really pink baby carrots. But yeah, that was kind of a neat experience. And I guess the only sad part about having the hamsters was they don't live very long. So I guess at 11 years old, it was my first experience really losing a pet because it died. Definitely a good life experience. Then we moved to North Carolina with only one of the hamsters because the other ones had died at that point. But when I was in high school in 10th grade, we ended up adopting some dogs again. We hadn't had dogs since I was 5 or 6 years old. We had actually gone intending to adopt a cat because there had been some cats at the local PetSmart, and we thought, well, they seem pretty sweet. Let's talk about getting a cat, which we had never had a cat before. We applied for one of the cats, and it turns out that one of our neighbors had already adopted that particular cat. But at the PetSmart, it was these 3 kittens and the mother, and one of the kittens had been adopted. So we went to go see the other 2 kittens. They were 8 months old. One of the cats bit my dad, so we were nah, we won't adopt that one. So we ended up adopting the 3rd cat, who I named Cricket later. And the day we were there, they also brought in these 2 little dogs, named Laverne and Shirley, after the old TV show. and they were just so small and so sweet and so scared. And my parents thought about just adopting one, and my brother eventually convinced them to adopt both. And that was 11 years ago, and they still live at my parents' house, all three of them, and I love them very much. And these are like the first dog slash cat that I've had for like that we've had for so long. Um, yeah, I have loved all the pets that I've had, and like I understand people who don't really want pets or feel like having pets. Like as a young adult myself, I don't have like my own personal pets where I live, and at this point of my life, I don't really want to because it is a really big responsibility to have pets. And obviously, if I have pets, I want to be able to provide for them what they need because they are living creatures, but they don't have the ability to like tell you if anything's wrong or to get themselves what they need because they're living in your house. Um, but I've always loved animals, and just the ability to just kind of hang out with them and not, I never really feel anxious around animals, and I can just kind of pet them or snuggle up with them, and I've always, animals are really great about just helping me feel calm. So that's my video for today, some fun little pet stories, and just my general attitudes about pets in general. I will hopefully be back on this channel soon. Bye. And one last thing, Katrina, we'll see you tomorrow.